Good afternoon.
I'm sorry, I've only just given you Mr. Hoadley's email. I apologise for that. You may not have had time to read it, I'm sorry.
I've read most of it. Beautifully worded. The report is as read and not dissimilar to the one that came before Council in November last year to appoint Boone Goldsmith to complete the design for the indoor 25-metre pool. At that time, the indoor leisure pool building was within the LTP, which was unapproved at that time. So that's why there's been like a split of approval for them to finish the design so we can go to tender and start the works after the indoor 25-metre pool refurbishment is finished. So, as I mentioned, the report is as read. The design fees to complete, the design, all elements, architecture, structural, building services, and the quantity surveyor's final cost estimate are practically identical to previous for the indoor 25-metre pool. So my request with regards to Boone Goldsmith is to appoint them and the other consultants to complete the design so we can tender, go out for building consent, and complete the design work on the indoor leisure pool, which is very similar. And I'd just like to mention also that before the design starts, we have a workshop a week today booked with yourselves here for the architect and myself to go through the proposed design before he puts pen to paper and starts to work, to give you a clear overview of what is being proposed.
Thank you, Mr. Bowden. I really would like to open the floor up for this one and have a good chat about it. Just before I do, can councillors just pay a little bit more, have a little bit more think about what we discussed yesterday at our get-together, whether there is any point or future in nominating a couple of people to really work quite closely to this project and come back to us, because I've got to be quite frank and honest with you that I'm pretty busy and I feel that I should be up there maybe every couple of days or something, and I simply can't get there to see what's going on. But I know there are people around this table that can and maybe would, so if we could have a think about that in our general talk over this, I'd love to be able to turn around to somebody in this room and say, how's that project going? We need to keep on top of it. And I don't mean to pay any disrespect to you, sir. It's historical and we're just simply not going there again. I hope.
I don't feel any disrespect.
So I just wanted to add that to this agenda item, and I'll just open it up for discussion. I think I saw Councillor Downard's hand up.
Yeah, I suppose I just wanted to make comment on Richard's points that he's got in there, and I've had to read down them, and a lot of them are quick fixes and probably don't sort the problem like he's got here. There are stained ceiling tiles that may not look good, but there's no potential of them falling in the short term. Well, that's what happened in the indoor thing. We thought, oh yeah, they're stained, they're okay, and they dropped down. Hello. So I appreciate someone like Richard really getting involved, the public getting involved and putting his input in there. But there's also, I appreciate that every councillor in this room, but this is controversial because, of what's happened in the past. And Andrew, I know that you've employed Gary Merwood as a overseer to everything that goes on in there, and he's probably more skilled than myself as a butcher. And I appreciate what you say, Mayor Rick, but I think all of us as councillors are interested in what's happening up there and that it is done to a good job. Yeah, I just feel as though that we've been through all the workshops and the architects, and again we're having another workshop next week, and we are treading lightly on water and taking step by step to come out with the best process.
Okay, yep, fine. Councillor Williams, sorry.
Yes, like Councillor Downard, I appreciate the concerns that Mr. Hoadley has, and I think those questions are questions that we have had answered. But I am with you, Mayor Rick, that I think we need to have some champions. Not so much that we haven't been fully informed by Mr. Bowden, because we have been, but actually to monitor the project as it progresses. And I think it's really important that this council is talking to Mr. Bowden on a regular basis, and I don't think we all have time to do that. I think that one or two, perhaps two of the councillors should take a direct interest and be sort of keeping us all in the loop with just to make sure, so that when the public asks questions, as Mr. Hoadley has done, we're all briefed and up to speed, because time within a few weeks, a project like this can change dramatically, and we need to have our finger on the pulse.
Well, I know that if I was building a new house, or I do have one or two buildings happening in town at the moment, I visit those sites daily, and the builders tell me what they're doing and how they're going and that. So I just throw that out there. Councillor Mincher?
Andrew, it might be covered in here, but just the timing of the design work, is it going to be while we're already pulling apart the pool, so we get more scope? Obviously, you've got more exactness in your costs.
Councillor, the contractor has confirmed his programme and will complete the indoor 25-metre pool by the end of February. Okay, so should we get the resolution today to appoint Boone Goldsmith for the indoor leisure pool, that work will be finished, as I've mentioned here, in November. So the intention is then, when we've got that documentation, we'll go out for building consent. That's at least 4 weeks. That will probably go into January.
Sorry, Andrew, what I mean is we're going to be pulling apart the other building. Would that give more design scope and more accuracy to going forward to your assessment of costs and things?
It may do. If we find any problems with the roof, it's not a given that we find similar problems.
Okay.
It's not really a given, Councillor, but if there are items, we have been through a buildability review already with the Watson Hughes and with the architect, and picked up a couple of things that chances are we may change, but something may come out of that. But basically most of the work is the roof, so I can't see it being much coming out of that really.
And can I ask, are we going to have much input again, some different options in that design brief for the leisure pool, or are we sort of already down the track?
No, we're not down the track, and that's the purpose of next week's workshop. We will show everyone here the design that we would like to proceed with, but we have another option as well.
Okay.
There may be additional cost and time with that, but I've instructed the architect not just to come here with the option that we've discussed up to now, but to also come with not taking the roof off and what the implications of that are. And that's why I want the workshop next week.
Oh, thank you. No, good. Thanks.
Okay, I've got Councillor Keith, Councillor Craig, then Councillor Hickling, and then Councillor Kirk. Councillor Craig.
I've got a lot of time. I'm light on council duties. I do not mind being someone that goes along and reports back. If someone else wants to join me, all well and good. I was involved in 2002 on the initial project and stuck my neck out quite a bit on that and disagreed with what went on in 2002. So I would be particularly interested in making sure that everything's going to be fine this way. Not that I want to be watchdog, but I just like to work with Andrew, and we have talked a lot. And so I put my hand up to be one of the people if you wanted to do it. Yeah.
Let's put that on the table. I think it's a good idea personally. Let's put it on the table, and I'll move to Councillor Hickling.
Yeah, Andrew, would there be an opportunity to perhaps, do we have to pass this resolution today? I would dearly like that workshop to give me a little bit, to bring us up to speed on what you're proposing on the design. Could we not? I know that's a workshop, that's the trouble.
I need to really employ the architect
to take it to the next stage?
To do the workshop as well.
Okay.
I haven't got any approved fees at the moment for him to come next week, because it's not anything to do with the indoor 25-metre pool. Yeah. So the intention was that as soon as possible that we employ the architect. I'd like him to finish it this year, this calendar year, so that next year, once we get towards the end of February, we have an option of how we proceed with regards to tender, and I want to get the consent.
I mean, they're the big decisions.
Yeah.
This is really just coming up to do the design work.
To complete the design, and that's all.
Yeah. And a lot of these, some of these things in terms of what Richard's put together is really the next stage. When we go out.
This is only associated with,
Yeah.
and I take issue with a significant number of these with regards to correctness.
Okay. And if need be, I don't mind